That dude was quiet. Like, he don't, unless you really know me, you don't get nothing from me.
Yeah.
And also, you don't get the podcast version of me on the street. I need people to understand that.
Yeah.
Like, they'll bump into me and want the podcast version of me. That's not going to happen. I have to be extremely comfortable and relaxed to even get in that mode to pod for real. Like, I'm talking when I'm really in the weeds.
Yeah.
You know, on something.
Yeah, and I've struggled with that too, because a lot of times, like, I'm so appreciative of our listeners and our fans, but when I do see them when I'm out, they typically want to have a mini podcast right then and there.
Every time. And
I appreciate them so much that I try my fucking best to do it, but I'm like, dog, I'm not in hip-hop debate mode right now. Like, I don't care about Meek versus Drake right now. Like, I just don't. It's just not in my brain.
Yeah, I tell my fans, listen, I'm lighting the way, and that's it. That's all I can do. I'm not gonna be able to touch all y'all. Y'all gonna exhaust me, family. Listen to the pod. I'm probably the only person putting real gems in it, like literally getting to the meat and potatoes of what's happening. If you can't get it from there, you ain't on the level to get it from me stopping and talking to you. You see?
Yeah.
Because I leave enough in the podcast. I get so vulnerable and so in the weeds with it on the pod. You can't get that version live anyway, brother.
And I'm talking to people I f with.
Exactly.
Which is another totally different part of vulnerability and being able to have that conversation.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm kind of an open book to some degree on my pod. So I've had listeners like meet and greets and shit. So I'm like, oh, is your aunt still sick? I'm like, how the f? Oh, shit. I talked about it. And like, you ain't the one I really want to talk about this with. Right. And now I have to go do a show, and now you just reminded me of some shit that I was trying to block out my fucking head.
Right. And then that's what I'm saying. That's why I try not to. And then I'm in the weeds of shit on the pod as well. So again, they're relatable to things. Like, I may talk about a breakup. Forget I talked about it. It just so happened that day the pod was on, something fresh was happening from that, and it just kind of bled over. And now y'all slick know I went through a breakup. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a very weird thing, but they're really invested on podcasts, and that's why I think these kind of conversations are important from people who actually have done business in the space.
Yeah. I mean, but that's why I tried my best not to come across, not in an arrogant way, but I'm so appreciative of people that come up and tell me they fuck with the pod. That's why I'm in that catch-22 of that, because I want, once that stops, then the business stops.
Yes.
Like that's the catch-22 of podcasting. You have to remain relatable, and that's why people come up to you in the street, and talk about personal shit. We were walking today. Fan from London just started talking about personal shit right away, and I was like, I mean, yeah, I do want to continue to go to London. I'm glad we have London fans, but you have to have a moment of vulnerability with a stranger. And
I can't do that. And like we were just speaking about, like, I think my history background has a lot to do with my availability in that way. You know, I'm not in a space to, even my own producers who I pay and I hire, I still move without them, right? And it's like, I know at some point that has to stop, but I haven't figured out how to address that, you know, in regards to, like you were just saying to me, yo, you kind of got to have them around you so they can learn you and speak on your behalf, because when you're dealing with certain things, people don't know what you want because you haven't told anyone.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, we went through that, and I don't want to speak for Maul, but I know he'd be perfectly fine with me explaining this point. We went through that early on because Maul is from an untrusting environment.
It's up there. It's up there. Ooh, we thank y'all so much, man. Appreciate y'all.
Hey, it's your boy Loon from It's Up There Podcast. Thank you for watching the video you just watched, and make sure you subscribe by hitting the button you see on the screen, or go to the next video by hitting this right here you see on the screen. Biggest Up There Podcast.